Rusty smoke came out the exhaust. Try to test it out. So at the end of the day, I kind of don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing it to the best of my knowledge. Anyway, I ain't got the money for that. Hey everybody, how's it all going? Welcome back to the Career Cage and welcome back to a new episode. In this episode, I got a new project to work on. Let's spin you guys around and tell you guys all about it. Well everybody, this is a project that my buddy gave to me for working for him in his little business so much. I'll try to plug his business around here, right here close. He's got a little bit of a mechanic business we can do, and this is part of the payment for like 2 or 3 days I was doing it, working with him for. So the rundown on this thing is it's a 2008 Honda CRF150F, and he gave it to me because it didn't have a carburetor. So we took the carburetor off the red bike over there, which is 22mm Mikuni, stuck on there, and we were trying to get it running last night, but the clutches were a little stuck, and then we got them unstuck. Over on this side, the starter solenoid, we tried using the jump pack to start it, but this starter solenoid is bad. It was making a weird high-pitched sound or whatever. So yeah, I need to get another one of them. And the little start button over here is broken. I mean, it still works. You just gotta stick your finger in there and try to mess with it. But I had my brother, since they were going to town, I had my brothers get a new spark plug over there. So once they get back, we'll probably start working on this thing some more. Maybe try to jump it straight off of the starter or something like that, and see if this bad boy would run. Last night we were able to put it in 5th gear and able to push it, and it was moving the bike and the chain, so at least the engine ain't stuck. That was my biggest worry, because he had no carburetor on it for like, I think he said like a year or 2 years, so I was worried about that. But seems like the engine ain't stuck. So yeah, anyway, it's a 5-speed manual with the clutch, so it's going to be fun trying to learn how to shift on this thing. And it is missing a few things. It's missing a few bits of the plastic and covers. I'm not too worried about that. And then the front wheel, the caliper and the disc is gone, and the front hand brakes is gone, but it does have rear brakes, and that's what I'm used to with all the little mini bikes. So I'll wait until they get back, and then we can start working on this thing again. Let's get after it. Well everybody, after a few days of working on this thing, we found a few things out. Let me go ahead and show you guys what we found out about this thing. Well everybody, what we found out a couple days ago is I had the spark plug out, and I was trying to I tried to start it by just jumping the starter relay, the starter solenoid. I tried jumping those 2 posts and trying to get the starter click over, and that kind of made me think that the engine was stuck, which it was. So after fiddling with that for a bit, we had to come over here and remove that plug to get to the crankshaft so my brother could use a wrench, and we went back and forth, and it finally freed up. And then we cranked it over a bunch, and a whole bunch of rusty smoke came out the exhaust. And then after letting it idle for a bit and everything else, it kind of cleared up and all that stuff. Although at the end of my ride, I just took a few little pulls through here, trying to get used to it and everything. I think the clutches are messed up, or starting to get messed up, but before I try to replace those or break into that, I'm going to try to fiddle with the clutch adjustment, because from what I understand, there's a lot you can do with just the clutch adjustment. It's just these two bolts right, or nuts right here. It's kind of stupid how they made them 2 different sizes, but what I'm going to do is try to tighten it up a little bit, trying to push this back a little bit, because right now the clutch is barely engaged and you barely have it all the way back. So I'm going to mess with the clutch adjustment, and then we'll probably try to ride it a little bit around, just right around in here, and try to see if that thing fixed it. Anyway, let's put you on the tripod and let's get after messing with that. Alright everyone, well, I got the clutch adjustment done about as best I know how to. So I'm going to go ahead and start this thing up, let it idle for a little bit and warm up, and take it around the yard and see how it feels and everything. Again, this is the first thing I've ever rode with a manual clutch, so at the end of the day I kind of don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing it to the best of my knowledge. So anyway, let's show you me starting this thing up, and then we'll take it out in the yard and try to test it out. Well, that was the little bit of a ride I was able to show you guys. Although I noticed during the ride that the back tire was flat. I noticed it was leaking out of the valve core, so I sprayed some WD-40 in there. Hopefully it'll help like get rid of grime or whatever that might be in there. But if not, I might just have to get new valve cores. But anyway, this thing is working pretty dang good. That's about all I can do in this yard for right now until I practice shifting and I get more gas and everything. Then I get this jerkiness when I'm letting out the clutch. Right about there or so, it starts like jerking forward. And from everything I've seen online, that's probably because the clutch basket probably has grooves in it from the steels and friction discs. So I might have to either get new clutch discs or break into the clutch basket and file them grooves down, or get a whole new clutch basket. Anyway, I ain't got the money for that, or the anything else for that, because what's in there is all the gas I got, and I don't have no more oil for this thing. So breaking into the engine and stuff is going to have to be for another day, and taking it out on the streets or whatever in the desert is going to have to be another day as well, because I ain't got that much gas in there. And this boot, for some reason, the original carburetor that was on this was a 22 millimeter carb, and this is a 22 millimeter Mikuni, but this boot right here just won't stretch around the inlet of the the carburetor. So I don't know if I need like some rubber conditioner to soften it up or what. Long term in the future, I'm just going to get the original carb that was on there anyway, because right now it's basically just open. There's no real filter. I mean, this boot is kind of pressed up against there, but I don't think it's actually filtering anything, because one, there's not a filter in there, but two, there's gaps and everything. And yesterday, this carburetor was leaking out, but it's not doing it now, so that's kind of weird. But anyway, that's about all I can do for right now until I'm able to take it out in the desert and stuff, or mess with those clutches and stuff. So yeah, guys, I'm going to shoot some YouTube shorts for this thing and just practice with it around here in the yard, and I'll bring you guys back when there's something else cool to show you guys or something like that. Anyway, let's get after it. Okay guys, well, me and my brother was riding around and working on this thing yesterday, and a couple things kind of came up. One, I guess since the engine was seized with rust and stuff, it probably messed up the piston rings and the cylinder wall. So now it's starting to smoke a little bit. So it looks like a top end rebuild is going to be in the works. Although before I do that, I want to try that engine restore stuff again to see if it'll help. And with this carburetor, I guess I don't know, I guess the fuel pressure out of the tank is a little bit too high, because the fuel tank is higher now on these than the little bikes. So it's like overcoming the float pressure and it's flooding the carburetor and everything. And me and my brother yesterday kind of rode it around and everything, and I'll show you guys clips of that right now. One, two, three. It's like a fire, you gotta breathe on it. Yeah, now you go. And I've been watching some videos on how to like wheelie this thing and everything else and stuff like that. So after I try to adjust those float bowls, I'm going to try to bend them down so I get more flotation pressure on them. Hopefully it'll stop leaking out the carb. After I do that, I'll take and try to film me practicing wheelies on this thing a little bit more. Anyway guys, let's get after it. Well everybody, I've broke into that carb over there a couple of times and there's been nothing but junk in there. I think that's because this is a very dirty fuel tank. So, and I don't have another fuel filter to put on this. So, I'm going to drain the tank. And I got kind of a redneck filter thing going up. This is one of the like in fuel tank filters from a old gas tank from one of them. So probably a combination between that, and I might use this siphon thing to get all the fuel out, because that is going kind of slow. I think I need a new petcock. But anyway, I want to filter all this gas out, and then maybe even take this gas tank off and try to wash it out somehow. Anyway, let me get this all drained out, and I'll bring you guys back after that. Well, guys, I got this thing all flushed out and everything. There was this, which is the end of the petcock tube, and the petcock filter thing that was in there rattling around and looked really nasty and everything. So tomorrow, since I flushed it out with water with the hose, so I'm just going to let it kind of dry out in the sun. Since we're in the 110 degree days, I'm going to let it dry. Tomorrow it should be basically bone dry, and I can put the petcock back on it and all that other good groovy stuff, and see if everything works. See if that carburetor floods over again. Anyway, let's catch you all guys tomorrow. Alright everybody, well, this thing's had plenty of time to bake in the sun, so all I need to do is put the petcock back on it, throw it on the bike, and then we can see if that carburetor leaks again. Anyway, let's get after that. Alright everybody, well, I got the fuel tank installed and full of fuel, petcock on and everything else, so I'm going to let this thing sit, let the bowl fill up and everything, and see if it starts leaking out of this little seep hole, leaking hole thing. See, the overflow tube doesn't have anything in it yet, so I'm going to let it sit for a little bit, put the seat on, and then I'm going to take it right around in the yard for right now, just to warm it up and see if it starts leaking. And if it don't start leaking, Then I'm going to take it out on the streets and do a top speed run with the GPS app. Let's get after that. Well everybody, this is what I mean when I was smoking. I'll go ahead and start it and I'll show you just how much it smokes off a first start. See, it's starting to smoke kind of badly. I don't know if you can see it very good on the camera. But yeah guys, that first startup I did on camera, that was there was a pretty good plume of smoke coming out of it. Kind of like my quad when the piston rings were real bad. So yeah, I'm probably going to start it, let it warm up, see if that carburetor leaks again, right around in the yard, and see if the smoking kind of stops. But if it don't, well, even if it don't, I'll still take it out on the streets to do a top speed run, just to get kind of like a before and after rebuild numbers and everything. Anyway, I'll let this thing warm up and I'll go ahead and ride it around a little bit and show you guys that. Okay everybody, well, it wasn't smoking nearly as bad as it did at first startup, at cold startup, but it's still smoking. And I was kind of practicing my wheelies a little bit, and that was like the first couple good wheelies I did. Hopefully I got it on camera. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and put on the head cam, get the GPS app ready, and try to do a top speed run. See you on the road. Well, shit. Alright, I think I got all the numbers. Yeah, it does that sometimes. Huh? Okay, well, let's go. I knew I smelled the that's all I was fucking tired, too. That's how much. Well, it's the next day, everybody, and yeah, the top speed I was able to get on this thing was 53.1 miles an hour. I could probably go about 55 if those piston rings and all that stuff was better and it wasn't all seized up when I got it. So yeah, that, and I still have like carburetor problems. It's not leaking anymore, thank God. I cleaned out the tank and got all that trash out of it. But there's like a weird spot like halfway in between the throttle. Like this thing either likes very small cruising or wide open throttle. It don't really like being halfway open for some reason. I don't know if that's just because that's a Mikuni carb and it's supposed to have like the regular what do you call it, Honda carb on it or not. And yesterday we took these this baffle thing, the spark arrestor thing out, and it was way louder and like revier. It was much deeper of a sound and everything. So I don't know, I kind of like the quietness, but then sometimes when I want to annoy the neighbors, maybe I'll take that spark arrestor out and make it sound like a little one-cylinder Harley or something. Anyway, guys, next episode I'm probably going to try that engine restore oil additive stuff and see if that helps this thing out at all. Although the compression is supposed to be at 175 at 150 Fahrenheit, and right now it's like roughly about 100 psi. So I don't know how much that oil additive will help. But I'm going to try that first and maybe try to get a little more life out of it before I have to do a top end rebuild. But yeah, I got a few more like video ideas and little adventures I want to do on this little thing. And the good thing about this being a 2008 Honda is it should be real easy to find all the parts and everything needed for a top end rebuild. Then who knows, I might put a cam in it or something like that. But yeah, guys, anyway, yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you guys on the next one.